Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the NLG show. It is Friday night, and we are back live once again here on the Twitch airwaves. And we got a great show for you tonight. Got a fantastic game developer that we've been looking forward to talking to all week since Chris went to PAX and met him. And we've been checking out his game. And we are looking forward to talking to him. And I am going to, in a moment, when Peter and Chris introduce themselves, I'm going to move that light away from me before it A, blinds me, and B, makes me look like I am a ghost. So, I am Mike Mullis, Stinger NLG, and I got with me my ever... Oh, he's wearing the shirt. He's wearing the shirt. So, what's up, boys? Introduce yourselves.
Yeah, this is Peter Heuting, HTK. What's going on? Let's do this.
Yeah. Chris Williams, HK, aka Flashback 67.
Everybody wants to be like Peter.
Yeah.
And introducing tonight, we have a very special guest. It's a pleasure to have him on. He is the, let me make sure I got this right, owner, co-founder, main developer, coder, half of the team of, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much right.
Okay. He is Garrett Cooper from Super Duper Game Company with his awesome looking Tron inspired. I called it on Twitter an RPFPS. Role playing FPS.
Yes.
Black Ice. What's happening, Garrett? Welcome to the show. Show.
Thank y'all so much for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I go by Super Duper Garrett Cooper, which is one of the reasons why Super Duper Game Company is why it's the same
there
thing.
It is. Nice.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice. Yeah. So how did that come about?
People used to call me that like in a joking manner in high school, and I just owned it after that.
That's excellent. Hang on, I got to. We got your logo takes a minute to load, but there it is. So that's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Thank you.
So
yeah.
So tell us about Super Duper Game Company, Super Duper Garrett Cooper. Give us a little scoop on how you got rolling into doing what you're doing.
Well, I've always wanted to make games, and it didn't occur to me that games were made by people for the longest time. And when I was, I think I was in like algebra class, and everybody had TI-83s, and I had a TI-86, and I couldn't play the same games that they could, because you could just like download them and share them and everything. But I had a different version, so it wouldn't work. But you could download the source code on the internet and type it in manually. And so that's how I got started programming, is actually like punching these things in line by line and making mistakes and figuring out how to change things from there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I had moved out to California for my day job, and I didn't have any friends there, and one of my friends was like, "You should try messing around with Unity," and I did that, and I started with like a sliding puzzle tutorial, this little like 15 tile where you're like rearranging a picture, and after that, I made that sliding puzzle, and that was fine. And then it was like, oh, you can add all these extra Unity like built-in things. So one of them was a first-person character controller, and so I put that into the scene. And all of a sudden, I'm standing on this puzzle and then like running around on it, and then falling off of it and just falling forever because there was no kill box or anything. But I was physically walking around in the thing, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So I just built up from there, and it just kind of blew up. Like this sliding puzzle is still in the game. Actually, it's in the center of the world. You can still find it because it's the same thing. Like I just built up.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah, my daughter, she's interested in gaming, and that's one reason why we've gone to PAX the last. The last one was our 4th year. So. And she's in a nonprofit art program called SAC
Awesome.
Here in San Antonio. And so she's gotten into Unity too. So
that's really cool.
So I know we didn't get to talk to you about it, but when we're there, I try to get her, talk to the developers there, talk to them about, gaming and this and that, get advice. So they're definitely interested listen to your passion, how you got started. You just never know where it could take you. So
Yeah, absolutely.
and here you are, then here you were at PAX South, and you run into you there at the game, talk to you a little bit, and here we are. So
Yeah, I never expected people to really like the game. I was just doing it for my own sake, and I put it on there was a Reddit, the game dev subreddit had a Feedback Friday thing, and I put it on there, and then somebody made a let's play of the game instead of giving me feedback, and it was my friend Kale. I befriended the guy after a while, and that was enough for me to be like, maybe I should keep going with this. It was really encouraging to see other people play it.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would say for your daughter, try to, whatever she makes, maybe she could do a game jam. I think the global game jam's coming up this weekend.
Yeah, yes, it is this weekend.
Yeah, and maybe she can do some game jams with people. You can learn a lot of stuff there, make some contacts, and that's a good way to practice getting a complete game out there very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool.
Have you been part of any of those?
I've done a couple of little game jams. We did one for a thing called Indie Quilt that never came together, actually. The idea was going to be kind of a WarioWare sort of game jam where everybody puts all of the games together into a big page and you could switch between them, and it'd be just a bunch of little mini games. But integration proved to be the difficult thing there.
Yeah, that always that's a tough one. Just ask ask 343 about Halo Master Chief Collection. That's all you need to know about that.
Yeah.
So going from calculators to actual game dev, and so the game, as you can see on the screen, is Black Ice, and this is your first game?
Yeah, it's my first commercial game. I mean, I made little things on my calculator, but that was about it before this. And granted, I did learn some programming in college, so I didn't get it out of nowhere. But that's all functional engineering stuff.
Cool, very cool. And so, give us a little rundown on. I'm gonna start playing some video here, but give us the rundown on. What is Black Ice? What was the genesis behind putting this together? I'm gonna start running some video here.
Yeah, well, so Black Ice is a cyberpunk hacking game. It's kind of like Borderlands meets Tron. So by that I mean it's a looter shooter, right? So there's a whole lot of RPG elements and a whole lot of shooting as well, I guess. I really like Diablo 2. It's one of my touchstones, but I also liked, Quake. And to be honest, I was a little bit unhappy with Diablo 3 when it came out, although it's gotten much better since then.
By the time I got to Diablo 3, it had it had all the DLC and whatnot in it, and it actually turned out to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. It's solid. It's not the same thing as Diablo 2 to me. It gives me a different feeling. It's a good feeling, but it's different,
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like it for sure. But I was a little unhappy when it came out, and I was just well, maybe I could do interesting items in a game. And so I started with kind of that perspective of how do you make different types of things and different guns and different all sorts of stuff like that. So I mean, all the guns have all these different random stats on them, and you can get a gun that shoots rainbows that changes the color of the enemies and they can fight against each other, or a rocket shotgun, and those are basic things in the game. It gets crazier from there. Y'all may have seen the disco ball.
Right. We did see the disco ball a minute ago, and so what I'm running now, which I did get off your YouTube page, was a developer Let's Play, which I'm assuming is you.
Yeah, that's me.
So you actually began showing some of the interesting elements that go along with this. I mean, this is not. It's for when you talk about being an RPG first-person shooter, what else what else were some of the things that you wanted to bring into a game like this to make it a little different than your average first-person shooter, which everybody in the world does?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, game feel is definitely something that's very important to me, and I feel like certain shooters have like a slower feel, or like even like I'm not like a huge Call of Duty fan, but what they do very well, which is trying to make it super fast in terms of like when you're killing people online, and you want to like kill or be killed and jump back into the action really quickly, but like dying that quickly doesn't feel very much fun, at least to me. So you're a little tougher in the game. It takes a little longer to kill you, but also like I missed just like flying around in Quake 3 and the jump pads and things, and I just like the craziness of all of it, and I like the strategy of RPG games in terms of like what your loadout is, and like hunting for items is really like one of my big things. Like I always liked searching in Diablo for the best stuff, and then like, well, you get this really cool thing and you're like, well, I could build a whole character around that, and now I'm going to make a whole new guy that's based just around that. And so the game is set up like that, where you have perks as you level up, and the perks might be, well, your shotguns shoot twice as many projectiles, and that might not seem fun when you're using a laser shotgun, although I mean, come on, laser shotgun, right? But
I like that one earlier. It looked like a bubble gum, like the balls were coming out.
Oh yeah, the bouncy ball gun.
Yeah, that one, and that one sounded cool. I know we can't hear it here, but
thank you.
I love the way that sounded. No, it was a little bit earlier.
It looks like a gumball machine with the balls bouncing around on the inside.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
No, it sounds awesome when it shoots.
Before, the weapon models are new to you.
And see if we can. Yeah, I had to point that out because that just stood out to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, like a bouncy ball gun.
And see, I love that. Like you were saying, I love exploring the games and just gathering items and of course crafting and so on, loadouts. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I thank you. I really appreciate that. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get more people in here. Let's see. I'm posting the link to my Discord, and I'm like totally distracted right now. I apologize. Yeah. Well, they're both beautiful, right? I definitely like the original one a lot better, but the soundtrack to the new one and the visuals of it are fantastic. But yeah, it kind of came out of, well, I mostly do programming, but what kind of visuals can I pull off? Like, I love LEDs, and I love shiny things, and well, I can make a grid, right? And so I started with that, and then I just figured out like how to make things glow, how to add reflections, how to add shiny things, and yeah, so that's kind of how it came out. And then I was like, well, love that. I love cyberpunk. I love like Neuromancer and Snow Crash and all of that. So it all fit well together.
Nice. Now, are these procedurally generated levels?
No, although I actually did start procedurally generated. But as it turns out, nobody has done like a full random procedurally generated three-dimensional like world with three-dimensionality to it. They've done where you like make a bunch of rooms by hand and then you stitch them together in interesting ways. But nobody's actually done like a proper, at least in a retail game, of a game that you could run around in 3D spaces that are procedurally generated. Apparently it's like very difficult.
Okay.
So I tried to do it at first, it didn't work out, and then I switched to this hand-done level, and benefits to that is that the enemies are much more able to climb up on top of things and find you wherever you're hiding, and it makes it a lot more challenging and fun.
Oh. How many levels?
It's one giant level.
Ah.
And it's just gotten a lot bigger. So I actually hired a level designer by the name of... what is his last name? Oh my gosh, why can't I remember? His name is Joe.
We might have
I'm just blanking right
We might
now.
have to edit this
Oh my
one
God.
in post.
Joe, his Twitter name is Frozener. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Joe. I have to Google this right now. Radak, Radak. All right.
You can blame him for not being in the chat.
Yeah, he should have been here backing me up here. Yeah, so I hired Joe, and he's created this whole like volcano zone, which almost doubles the size of the world, which is fantastic. And my partner, Nana Decimal, who has started working on the game in the past year or so, who's not only doing like this whole quest system and everything, but he's also been helping with the level design as well. He built like a whole arcade zone, and he just rearranged the whole world, and we built the new valley together, which has a lot more the verticality to help people jump around on things.
Okay, so you're saying that the entire world is just there. So this is like almost open world-ish.
Yeah, absolutely. So all the servers in the world, all those colored boxes are different corporate servers, right? So you're trying to break in, and generally, you know, the bigger the server is, or the further you get into the world, the harder it is, but the better the loot. But not only are the enemies tougher in terms of like health and damage, but they also start getting like extra upgrades. Like there's some different types of enemies that you only see in the higher levels, but also like maybe you'll get an extra fast one. Maybe you get one that's completely invisible, or not completely. It's more like the Predator cloak, you know, or like drops mines, or both. Like you can get those stacked on top of each other. Yeah, so that can get kind of ridiculous. It's a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah, I was telling buddy in chat, Coop, he's our PC Master Race NLG, so he normally streams for us, so I told him he needs to get this game and play it so he can stream it for us. So.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But we also had another guy, Project Jeff, he said this looks great too, so
thank you.
I know it's on Steam. Is there any chance, have you talked to any, you know, like for Xbox ID, like Chris Charla?
Yes.
PS4, yeah?
Yeah, I've actually met with Chris Charlo, and I've talked to the PlayStation people, and the thing is, because it's in early access and I'm still working on it, it kind of doesn't make sense to put it on console yet.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know if this is too, like, inside baseball, but basically, like...
I'll bring it.
For a lot of them, it's not so much the case anymore, but it used to be every time you patch a game, you have to like pay to recertify it.
Yeah, they've gotten rid of that. I do know that both Sony and Microsoft do not do that anymore.
Okay, because that was the case before, and it was just like, whoa, I can't do that at all.
And then I know Xbox has a game preview. I don't know if, and that's like early access for their, you know, on the console.
Oh wow, yeah,
so
that
cool. Might be something to look at too, you know.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I'm just throwing this out there. This would make a dandy Game Pass game.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Game Pass is a really interesting thing as a developer. Like, it totally makes sense that, like, as a player, like, oh, you get all these cool games. But like as a developer, it's like, well, I'm kind of used to people being able to buy the game. And then, like, I don't know, because, like, when you put your game on Game Pass, I think, like, Microsoft pays you, like, one thing, and then you just don't get any more after that. Which, from, like, an early access perspective, is kind of terrifying. Because I need the money to, like, pay Joe, the level designer, or to help to pay Non-Decimal, and it's like, well, I mean,
So
I don't know.
Game
I haven't looked
preview
into
probably
it.
be the way to go, because then you got gamers like me I can buy it. Normally the games that go on Game Pass are like, you know, instead of the full price $60, they're like $30.
Okay.
So then you got all these people paying into it while you're still developing it.
Yeah.
And you know, then you still come out, you know, once it's done, then you know.
Yeah.
Now
Now
it comes out at full price.
we have heard of games that are on Game Pass that have still sold really well because of word of mouth.
That's
so,
awesome.
you know, you get a game that you know, people might be afraid to buy it or try out. They see someone else or their buddy's got it on Game Pass, and then they go, well, now I need this game. And this is multiplayer, right?
Yes, you can do up to 10 players in co-op. It's primarily co-op, but there's also like a PvP co-op sort of thing.
Wow. See that? Yeah, that would be fun to play. And like some of us, like we game together. This group, the NLG, friends in the chat and stuff. That's just what we do. We love playing co-op games. So
that's awesome.
This is up our alley, for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, co-op is like my favorite thing to do too. Like I'm not a huge competitive gamer, and when I do play competitive games, it's always team based, right? Because I'm playing it as a co-op game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice. See, yeah, I'm with you there. Now, are you primarily a PC gamer, or do you game on console as well?
I do. It depends. Like I played the recent Spider-Man one because it was only on PlayStation, and it was really fun. And yeah. Oh, to answer chat's question, I tried to put the game in VR, and it was really sickening. Just because, like, you gotta move around so fast, and the enemies are coming at you from all these different directions. You gotta, like, move your head and, like, physically move a bunch. Like, I figured if I can't even, like, do it myself, like, how are other people gonna do it, right? Like,
Peter and I know what that's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Coop in chat, the one that asked, he plays in VR. I think he has the Oculus. So.
Yeah, I think the best VR games are the ones that are designed like just for VR. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, with some exception. I think first-person shooters are still tough, unless you are, unless you're used to it. What was that? What was that? What was the game we were playing, Peter?
Snap.
Farpoint?
Farpoint.
Farpoint.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't even finish it. It was like I actually had to lay down for like a half hour afterwards.
Because we played it sitting down, and then use the stick to turn around. That was like I played it standing up and stuff. I played for like 2.5 hours straight, no issues. But I sat down, and then it was kind of hard to recover.
Hard to recover was an understatement. I went upstairs to go check on my wife and ended up laying on the couch, and my wife's like, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "I just finished playing a VR game."
Oh my gosh.
So this is a Flores lava area.
Yes. And this was actually just a prototype for the volcano area. I just wanted to make sure that like lava worked really well and that I could have the enemies jumping across the rooftops really well. And it totally worked. So that's why we have started on the volcano like after that. And this other part of the video here, this is one of the indoor servers where they lock you in. And this one is we call it the aimbot fab because all those enemies are called aimbots. And there's just a whole lot of them in there, and you got to dodge a lot of projectiles.
Okay, but here you are changing your gun. And
yeah, you can see that like you can have 9 items on your skill bar at any time, and to rebind what item is on what key, you just move it around like that. And granted, there are also options to change what the keys are. But yeah, so the trick is how can I make a character that's good enough with just 9 spots, right? So like on that health bar there, I've got 2 minions, 2 guns, a sprint, a jump, my icebreaker tool, which is how you actually hack buildings. So you can increase your ability to hack. When you hack faster, less enemies spawn. So you kind of have to balance that out. Mm-hmm. And let's see, the healing item. Oh, and then my favorite on that right click is a teleport that lets me just do a short burst forward, including up. So there's a lot of mobility in the game.
Yeah, there's a bit of there's a lot of verticality.
And we're working on making it like even more vertical.
Wow.
Because I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, I'm gonna be making my daughter bring her laptop over here when she comes over so I can play.
Yeah. Now what? So this will run on fairly pedestrian hardware. I mean, some of us that aren't, that have work PCs.
Not like Coop.
Yeah, not like Coop.
No. So a work laptop might have a little trouble with it. And basically anything that's got like an external graphics, like an actual graphics card on it will do pretty well.
Okay.
because there's a demo on Steam, if you're worried at all about the game not working, I would download the demo, go into the video options, do stuff like turn off reflections, maybe even go low particle mode. There's a bunch of video options, and I really want people to like be happy with their purchase. So I definitely recommend trying out the demo. Which, by the way, the common knowledge in the game industry is that demos actually hurt sales, so it's kind of a risk to do that.
Well, but if you're confident in your game, then a demo does well.
Right.
As long as you can get into the demo and play the game, Anthem. No.
Oh my gosh. You know, I was actually trying to play that before this, and it doesn't run on Windows 7.
No?
Not at all. It would just like open up and then like...
Windows 7 is only supported for 1 more year.
Yeah, it's true.
I was so sad. Like, I've been procrastinating on upgrading to Windows 10 because I'm like, well, I'm in the middle of developing a game, and if my if my PC got messed up, like, what am I gonna do? Like, yeah.
Yeah, but so.
Well, I'm sad now.
Your game will run on Windows 10, right?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, my game runs on potatoes, basically.
Okay. Oh, so it runs on a toaster. Made with Source Engine, huh? So what did you? So you said this was Unity. You guys were talking earlier. Okay.
Yes.
So welcome, Assault Tank. Nice to see you.
Oh, I'm glad you liked the demo, Assault Tank. That's awesome.
The game looks great. I mean, it looks fun. It looks. What I'm most impressed with is there appears to be no loading.
Well, I mean, because you load the whole world at one time, yeah, that's the way it works. Nice. And just, you know, because it's low poly, it's not too hard on the hardware. And we do things like dynamically spawn the enemies in, depending on how far away you are from things. Because there are, like, in addition to the ones that come out of the servers, there's roaming ones as well to make things a little more interesting. Some of them will ambush you depending on where you go.
The the reloading action there with the gun flip. That's nice.
Thank you. Yeah, so actually there's no reloading in the game, but people kept hitting the R button to see if they could reload. Yeah. This was actually an idea that my friend had, and he put it in his game, and I asked him if I could use it. But yeah, the R, that little flip, is just a fun thing you can do. Okay. But yeah, actually, so my friend made this game called Dusk, which I don't know if you've heard of, but it just came out. It's also a retro first-person shooter. It's fantastic, by the way. It kind of looks like Quake, but it takes a lot of inspiration from Blood and horror movies, actually. So it's really cool. You should definitely check it out.
Nice. Now,
but yeah, he's got the reload flip in his game, too.
Yeah, I see.
Are there any bigger enemies that a team would have to tackle together?
There aren't any. There's no content that would require a bunch of people to do, but depending on how good you are, you can go for higher level content. There are larger enemies, or rather, there's one very large enemy. So there's the little crab guys are called Ghost and the Shellfish, and they'll.
Oh, cool.
And they kind of like charge at you and try to knock you out of the hack radius, because if you're not within that ring, the hack will cancel and you won't get any loot.
Okay.
So there's a big version of that called the Super Duper Gets Fish. And those they have like a big shield in front of them, and they're really good at knocking you out. So they are definitely tricky to deal with. But yeah, in multiplayer, it gets harder, but everybody gets their own loot. And you can like drop loot for each other, that sort of thing. But I don't have any like raid style content, if that's what you're asking. Because my philosophy with that is like, well, I could do something like that, and it would be really cool for the people that are playing multiplayer. But then I spent a bunch of time on something that only a subset of the people that own the game can play with. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm good with that.
As like, I mean, we got 2 people working on this game regularly. Neither of us are working on it full time because we both have day jobs. We really have to budget the time,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's impressive. that you're doing this spare timingly.
Yeah, thank you. It's a tricky balance. I mean, I could get into all sorts of stuff about that, but like, you know, you gotta take care to take time for yourself. You gotta, you know, take time for your spouse. You gotta do your stretches so you don't end up with carpal tunnel.
Right. Mm-hmm. So now your wife is also though involved in what you're doing. According to your the press kit, she is your financial side. She's your business side.
Yes, she is co-owner of Super Duper Game Company, and she like organizes all the conventions for us, and sometimes she'll deal with press and stuff like that. She's gone back to school recently, so she's taken a little bit less time to work on the game, but she's definitely awesome.
Yeah, we were talking about awesome wives earlier, so and that's great. I don't know if you know who Nick Macon is. He made a game called Raging Justice. Him and his wife. It's kind of the same kind of thing. It was a husband and wife team. She was the business side, and he was the coder.
Very cool.
And so it's neat to see. I mean, I have a great deal of respect for anybody who wants to try to develop a commercial game and get it out on, you know, get it out and make money on it. And especially if you are not, if this isn't your full-time gig.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I mean, that's...
It takes way more time than you'd think to do little things like get the menus working, you know? Like, it's crazy.
Wow. I'm just looking. It's just amazing that this thing is just one large streaming world.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like I said, that's what I love about PAX South is that you can go there and you see the smaller developers and you see games that you know, will never see if you're just a console player only. And so, and I always try to, every time I go, I like to bring pictures and try to take some video and show people on Twitter or whatever to say, hey, check out this game. And then it surprises me that maybe a year later or so, next thing you know, hey, it's coming to Xbox or PS4 or on the Switch. So it's a beautiful thing that, you know, it's not all about the big AAA games. And you know, I tell people you got to try the smaller games. A lot of cool stuff that like the stuff that you're bringing into the game that other games that inspired you, but you're adapting to, you know, kind of adding on to it.
Totally.
And that's what we need. And then in gaming, you know, we can't just have the same old stuff all the time. So
totally,
definitely, you know, a lot of respect for what you're doing, and you know, I'm sure it's not easy. And then you know, I'm sure you might hear some people out there, oh, this game sucks, or this, you know, and you know, you get some flack out there, but you know, I'm sure definitely a lot of respect for a lot of developers that have to go through. Yeah.
What's that ring? I've seen this here in the with the blue that turned red. What is that?
That's the hack radius I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So the way that it kind of works open worldy is like you go and depending on how good your icebreaker is, you start the hack and it creates that ring in a center point of where you started the hack, and so you have to stay within that. So that's how they kind of get you. Like that's why it's a big open worldy thing, but it really is more of a close ranged game.
Okay.
Although I have been steadily increasing the radius of that as the enemies get better at jumping across the rooftops at you. Yeah. You can see in the video right now that they're just like pretty good at chasing you down across there.
Oh, that's cool.
You're in Austin, right?
Yes, I am.
Are you any plan to have this at RTX?
Yes, actually, we've taken it to RTX past couple of years, and we are planning on doing it again this year.
Okay.
So okay, so we're looking at some things here. You said you're still in early access. So games started in 2014, right?
Yes.
And are you percentage-wise, and you could be rough. It doesn't have to, you know, obviously. You know, we don't want to give any information you're not ready to, but you know, are you targeting a full release this year? Are you?
So we think we might be able to get something done early next year. So this is a tricky question to answer when we both have day jobs, right?
Sure.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Because we never know, like, you know, I moved across country during the development of the game. We moved back from California. I had wrist issues and had to take time off for that, and because of that, I still have to limit my my coding time. And you know, life happens to things, and you just adjust to it. And as long, you know, I try to be very honest with people. So what we have left to do, we've got the big volcano area probably about halfway done. It needs, we're going to do that thing where you introduce a new enemy, like, and pretend like it's a boss, and then like maybe give it, you know, like more HP and some special things. But and then later on, it's just like a regular enemy. So we're going to do that. I have the enemy models and the animations, but I need to like code everything and put it in. And
did you do those animations yourself and all that?
No, I hired a guy named Ethan Red. So actually, I've had like a couple of contractors here and there. So like, I had a guy named Metkis, James Hostetler, who did the logo and the icons, and he did like the Super Duper Game Company logo as well. So he created, he did that. The enemy models and the gun models were both done by a guy named Ethan Red. Or rather, most of the enemy models, particularly the new ones. Ethan Red makes his own games and is super great. And I did the animations on the guns, though. Which I know that's like such a small distinction, but like there's 3 different layers of animations on the guns to make them feel good, all on top of each other. So like, I don't know if you can see, like, so...
You got me looking at the gun right now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's what you see. That's what's in front of you. So, you know, it's important to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I didn't even have gun models for the longest time because I was like, well, I guess you kind of don't need them if you've got flashy enough projectiles. But then it really does add a lot to the feel of the game, you know? So they've got, like, strafe animations. There's, like, if you jump, it'll kind of pop up, and then when you land, it does a different animation. There's sprinting, and then there's obviously firing animations as well. So yeah, a lot of layers on there.
Wow.
Let's see who else worked on the game. Jocelyn Reyes did the sounds to the game. So you were saying the bouncy ball gun sounded really cool. That was all her. And one more primary one. V-Axis. Is the guy's name. He's a German music guy, and he did all the music to the game, which is all 100% original for the game.
Mm. And what style?
That sounds really cool.
It's electronic, but not like synthwave, because we actually created the music for it before synthwave was a thing. So it's much more, there's kind of 2 energy levels to the game. It's like when you're wandering around, and then when you get into combat, it comes way up.
Gotcha. Well, Peter, you said you were just playing the demo.
Yes, I did.
Go ahead, man.
Well, it's, you know, the video that you're playing right now, at least from my end, it doesn't do as much justice with just how colorful it is. I mean, obviously I max everything out, so it's like, you know, you have your reflections and stuff, and it's very cool. I mean,
Thank you.
Didn't go too deep into it because you know, I tried to hack and then I got attacked by spiders and kind of have to get my way around. But yeah, definitely, people should check it out. Check out the demo. Really cool.
Thank you.
You know, I've got an NVIDIA Quadro. I think I can play this game. No, I really want to play it on my Xbox One X though. Just if I'm being honest.
You know, like I just with the 2 of us, I think we'll probably do consoles, but not until after full release. Even though, of course, you know, being how modular of a game it is, of course I want to go back and keep adding on things after it's done. But you know, we'll try to do consoles.
Well, that's great. I mean, you know, a lot of games now, and I'm not suggesting you're in early access, so obviously you're still working on some of the core pieces of the game. But after games are released, even big AAA giant games, and the developers are still pumping things into it, pumping new areas, putting new things in. That's a norm now. So
it is, and that's really hard as an indie developer actually, because like a lot of indie devs just want to make a game and they want to be done with it. They want to make another game. And the games as a service thing being an expectation is kind of hard.
Yeah.
And it also makes it to where, like, well, you've got one AAA game that you play, and you just play that forever, and maybe you don't play a different game. But, I don't know. I think with something in the $15, $20 range, which, by the way, we are planning on increasing the price of the game when the full thing is out. Or actually, we were kind of thinking maybe when the Volcano is out, because that's like a huge additional piece of content. I think in that range, even if you have your AAA game that you play all the time, maybe you'll still play indie games every once in a while and have some fun with them.
I think it's important. I think especially, and you feel free to, you are. This is a safe space. I think that this generation more than any, indie games are getting to where I don't want to say they're totally indistinguishable from AAAs, because obviously it's the budget, the difference in budget between a game like this and say Fortnite is is immense. But
it's not even night and day. It's It's astronomically different.
Yeah, it's winter and summer.
At least this looks fun and Fortnite doesn't, so there you have it.
There you have it. Peter has spoken. No, but
I need to make it to where you can jump on missiles in my game too. That seems like really fun.
Yeah. Oh, well, if you really want to inspire by good first-person shooters, I have 2 words for you: rocket jump.
Oh, you can do that.
Can you?
Yeah.
Nice.
See, he was already inspired.
He was already. Go.
People were doing it so much that I had to add self-damage to the rockets because I didn't initially have that, because it's really an RPG and I didn't want you to be able to like blow yourself up. But like now, like if you have minions or allies, you can't damage them, but if you shoot at something that's too close to you, it does damage you a little bit.
Gotcha.
And because the player HP is so much lower than the damage output you can do, because it's kind of got Diablo sort of scaling to it. I actually had to figure out oh no, what's the geometric relation between the player's HP and the player's damage, and how do I divide that down? It was kind of a lot of math to get that right, but it feels good now.
You pulled out that TI calculator?
Yeah. I think I still have it somewhere in here somewhere. Rocket jumping was too powerful, because people would get 2 or 3 guns, maybe 2 of them, and you'd shoot at something and then jump up, and then you'd switch to the other gun, and then you'd shoot at that one, and then you shoot at the other one. So it doesn't matter how much cooldown you have on it, people could just put more guns on their bar. So there's some interesting design problems with this game, because I let you put any item in any slot and have any number of the same item.
Wow.
So
you could call it a design flaw, or you could call it creativity.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, for sure, and I try not to limit those if I don't have to. So, for instance, you could have multiple healing items on your bar, and, when one of them's off cooldown, then you do the other one. But I did have to do stuff you can't have your whole bar filled with jumps, right? Because they're double jumps, and you go off in the air, so it's just that's just... I don't want people to fly, because the enemies there's a lot of them that are melee, right? And I could do 2 things, right? I could either let the player fly and then let the enemies have ranged attacks, or I could keep it kind of fair and everybody just kind of stays on the ground for the most part.
Or pterodactyls.
No, I do want to do flying enemies, and I actually have some models for that too, but we have a little bit more coding to do before we get those working.
Nice.
Especially in a complicated 3D world as it is. It's not simple.
Right. So physics-wise and geometry-wise, I noticed that one thing you're kind of doing, although there's no animation for it, but you can see it, is you're not just jumping, but it looks like you're reaching, you're ledging
Yes. Yeah, there's a ledge grab in the game, and it's actually extremely generous to the point at which you can actually do it backwards. There's no special button for it. You just hold a direction, and if it's within the right range, like you'll automatically go up on the things, which is great for terrain that's a little bit bumpy, or like if you're trying to backpedal away from something, you just smoothly go back in that motion, which I think feels really great. I haven't had any complaints about people saying that they were doing it when they didn't want to, so I really liked it, and that's one of the reasons we decided to keep making it, or just switch it up to make it much more vertical, was because the ledge grabbing was so much fun.
Watching the same thing over and over, and I'm still mesmerized by it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't even have the disco ball in that video either.
No. So the disco ball is a real thing?
Mm-hmm. It is a unique weapon. There are, and of course the unique ones are called super duper items.
Here, I'll go back to the other video that had the disco ball in it.
Oh yeah, so this video is a much newer version of the game. That one was from about 6 months ago, and this one is all the progress we've made since then. So this whole area is new. There's a lot of, like, the hack radius looks different. There's some visual effects that have been upgraded, the damage numbers, all that. This whole area, the volcano area, this is the arcade area that it was showing right there.
Wow.
Thank you.
This looks a lot more. See, now this looks clean. This looks a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably better quality video because I have my friend Pete do it instead of my doing it. I'm not very good at video. Yeah, there's the disco ball right there. So it's kind of Black Ice's version of the BFG. You just shoot out a ball and it just shoots a bunch of lasers everywhere and it bounces around.
Nice. What was that last thing in the last Starfighter? The Death Blossom.
Yeah. You remember that?
Sounds about right.
I'm old.
I'm old too, and I didn't remember that.
Is that a classic movie that I need to see? Because
yes.
I think I've heard it. Okay.
Wait.
I'll watch it sometime.
The last Starfighter? Are you serious?
Yeah, I really haven't seen it. I've heard of it, though.
You're young, aren't you?
I am 33.
Oh,
actually.
My God. You can be my nephew, dude. 33. I don't remember 33.
Man, you should see what the teenagers are making these days. Like, there are some games on Steam that are made by some young kids. It's crazy. And they're so good.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what, Chris was talking about earlier with his daughter. I mean, she's wanting to get in.
The CC, I think they have some of their games that the kids there make on, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that, Itch.io?
Yeah, Itch.io.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Itch.io.
Yeah.
I actually launched Black Ice on Itch.io initially.
Uh-huh.
And we did a thing where, kind of like so it was only like $5, but it was just like, well, if you pay $10 instead, we'll put your name in the game. So we actually have a bunch of servers that are named after people.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And initially we also did if you pay a little bit more, you can like have a gun in the game that is named after you. And it was just like, oh no, like so many, like a couple of people did it and it was fine, and then like more people did it, and that list got so long, and I was just like, I can't do this many guns. It's so much work because you have to like do a lot of back and forth and the negotiating what people want and everything. And truth be told, I still haven't finished all of them. I'm still gonna do it, but like I had to close it down.
Now I'm thinking we need an NLG corporation and they get down.
Yeah.
What about also now that the Epic is also getting in the game on the have you looked into that?
Yeah, the Epic Store is really interesting. I am not convinced that they're going to solve the problem of discoverability because they seem to be saying like, well, we aren't going to choose which games you should see. We're just going to let like YouTubers do that or people on Twitch, and it's like, well, that's great, but it's hard to get even them to look at the game in the first place. So then what am I going to do?
Yeah.
But like that they give you a better cut is awesome, and the storefront seems really nice. So maybe I'll be on there eventually. Yeah. But actually, initially when I launched, I was on way too many storefronts, and so the main version of the game, we do like big updates. We try to get everything in one thing. We do like a big named update. We do like a video and all that. But that takes a lot of time, and we only do those maybe once every 6 months. But if you want the like latest stuff, there's a version on Steam you can opt into. That I've been updating that probably on average once a week for the past several years. Yeah, obviously some weeks it's more than once a week, and some weeks, it's Christmas or whatever. But it's anybody can opt into that. But like doing that many patches, and then like I have to do like 6 different builds at least, maybe more if I'm putting it on the demo too. So I've got Windows, Mac, Linux for Steam, Windows, Mac, Linux for not on Steam. It doesn't have like Steam integration to it. If you have it on one and up, it messes things up. And building all those, and then trying to put it on Steam, on Itch.io, on Humble. I was on Desura for a while, which they still owe me money after they shut down.
Wow.
Yeah, I was on like a couple of other sites too, and it was just like, I can't keep up with this. It was too much. And moreover, after that, like you're like, well, if you're trying to tell somebody to go check out your game, where do you send them, right? You need to have one place to send people to make it frictionless. You don't want to give people like a decision point before they even see the game, right? So now I focus on Steam, but I still prefer if people buy it on Itch.io because I get a better cut there.
Okay. And I don't honestly have Steam, so Itch.io would be fine.
Yeah, there you go. And Itch.io still gives you a Steam key anyway, so you can get access to the updated version. But yeah, it's an interesting marketplace these days.
Very much so. No. Well, this is man. Disco Ball is so cool.
Yeah, that's
that's
very good.
Yeah, I tweeted, I tagged another friends of ours, another podcast called Short Pause Gaming, and they're big into indie gaming. I'm not sure if they do PC gaming. I don't know. We might, but anyway, I tagged them, so maybe, and I also tagged Chris Charlotte too, and I said, hey, you need to take notice of this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That, and you being at PAX Out, like that's the first time I heard of it, but this is how we get some of these games that that we like, spread the word,
Totally.
So
well, that was
the way to do it.
Yeah, and so PAX. It's funny because PAX was really indie heavy, and now now with the incoming death of E3, everybody else is kind of sliding to PAX. What's the general consensus among indie developers about having the big boys there? Does it help you guys?
It does. It absolutely does. Because while the big press people will generally focus on the AAA stuff, especially there's a dedicated press hour at the beginning of PAX that just that just press people can come into. And like when we're at PAX, we never see any press people because they're all looking at the AAA stuff during that time and the lines are short, right? And I don't blame them for that. They got to cover what's going to bring in the clicks, right? It helps because the more people that want to come to PAX, the better. And the convention centers usually have more than enough room to bring people in. So, yeah, the more the better, I say.
Very cool. So, with this, we definitely want to get Coop to play this so we can see it. And he just finished the demo, so
yeah.
Hey, you just rolled through.
Awesome.
Oh, man. All right, cool. So let's talk about some more fun general things. As we said earlier, I said earlier, we're all gamers. We all love games. We all love to play. We all love to do. So, you said you're not much of a competitive gamer guy, but what are some of the games that you like and you play pretty, when you have the chance after work and coding and stuff? Do you even, does it burn you out to a point to where you don't even want to play anything, or do you actually get some time in?
Oh, I do get some time in, and generally what will happen is I'll code a whole bunch, and then I'm like, okay, I really need to force myself to take a break. And then I'll just like burn through some particularly large game. Like I did that with Destiny a while back, and I was excited to play Anthem, but I didn't get a chance to. I got a PSVR recently. Kind of treated myself on my birthday.
Yes.
So Astrobot was like super good, and I don't like platformers because I didn't grow up with any consoles actually. I was kind of deprived as a child.
Poor thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I had Wolfenstein, and I had Quake, and I had Duke Nukem.
All right.
But
All right.
Right. You know, I played Red Alert and Diablo and all that. But
Red Alert. Oh my
God.
Love Red Alert.
Oh.
Loved that game. I was late for the bus because of that game a couple of times. Let's see what else. Super Hot in VR was super good. I kind of bounced off of it on PC, but in VR it feels fantastic.
But that should be. I mean, I know we talked about it a little earlier, and you said it was, you know, the nausea factor and stuff like that. But but Super Hot's kind of in that wheelhouse of that first person shooter with some of those kind of fast paced action things. So it didn't you know, did it make you sick?
No, because they specifically designed around it. So in the base PC game, you're like running around in the actual level, right? But in VR, they split the level up into a series of spawn points, and you never have to physically move. You might need to like step forward or backwards, but other than that, you're really just standing in the same spot.
Boo! All right, well, so Doom tried to do that, although I think Doom had a free move version too.
It made me sick.
Okay, all right. Fair
I
enough.
was so excited because it doesn't. It's not like Doom 2016. By the way, fantastic freaking game. Loved it.
That was my 2017 game of the year.
Absolutely. That game is super good. And that's why I was like, oh, I gotta do mantling, right? Like obviously, all the ledge grabbing. But then like that version of the game, like they do so many cool things. They're just like, all right, I don't want to listen to people. I just want to blow stuff up, right? Like I want to get this guy out of the way and go. And then the first thing you do when you open the VR, it's just like, now listen to this guy talk for 10 minutes about how to use your controls. And it's just like, let me just blow stuff up. Come on. Like, what are we doing here? This is not Doom. And then you do like it was like the teleport movement by default. And,
right.
But you still had to do it kind of fast because the enemies were still pretty fast. And I don't know. It didn't hit for me.
Yeah, I don't. That to me doesn't scream, you know, VR like I thought. That, you know, that's what I, you know. But Astrobot's one I want to play. Either the first or the second demo disc has kind of the precursor to what that became. So Astrobot's one. It's one in my list of kind of when I can must plays. Right now, I know I'm running through We Happy Few, so yeah. So that's. Did you play that?
No, I was surprised to find that it was a mostly a survival game.
In the beginning, it kind of was because it came out in game preview, like I was telling you, on Xbox, and while they were developing it, and so it was more survival in the beginning, but
they put a story into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot better now.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a story and there's side quests that are actually linked to the story, which is nice. They're not there are definitely some side quests that are just, you know, your side quests for the sake of side quests, but many of the secondary quests in that game are actually tied to the main quest, when that's kind of cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, and again, so you know, this is a game where the reason I brought up Game Pass earlier as a launch vehicle could be that's a game that I did not get a chance to play until it came to Game Pass. So, you know, then I get a chance to try it, and maybe my tweeting about it or saying something about it gets somebody who didn't buy the game originally and wasn't interested in it to go, okay, well, maybe I need to give it a chance.
Sure, yeah.
So, that's...
Okay.
And that's what a lot of games are doing, like We Happy Few. They went through game preview, right? So people supported it while it was in development. Once they were done, it released full price and went over to PS4.
Sure.
And now that studio is part of Xbox, so that's probably why. And then now it's in Game Pass. So, but it helps. Like Mike was saying, not a lot of people played it while it was in game preview or bought it. And now it's a game that they have a chance to try and see for themselves. So it's Game Pass is definitely positive for not only gamers but developers too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think for certain, especially for certain development setups, yeah. I mean, I want to say Game Pass has like a whole, or not Game Pass, but We Happy Few has like a fairly large team, at least in comparison to me.
Sure, no, that's right, but there are developers that have put out games that are not large teamed. Not every game is like that. I mean, I've played games like Laser League, for example, was and that came out of nowhere. No one even heard of it, and then all of a sudden, there it is in Game Pass, and people are like, wow, this is wild. And I remember there have been a couple of developers that have said, we've actually, because of the exposure from people in Game Pass, the people who don't have Game Pass go out and buy it because they're impressed with it. So there have been instances where being in a service like that has helped the game sales-wise.
That's awesome. Well, that one is also primarily a multiplayer game, right?
Yes.
Laser League?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It is very much.
And and so Game Pass really makes sense for those kind of games because you really need a lot of, like, a large player base, right? In order to keep the multiplayer community going.
Yes, but they've got a lot of single player games in there too.
Sure, for sure.
So, I mean, obviously, we don't work for Microsoft, so I'm not trying to talk you into.
Oh no, totally.
There's an audience for a game like Black Ice, I think, in there, where especially since we were talking about games as a service, there's definitely an audience there. So
I just I'm not going to compete with Sea of Thieves in terms of how quickly they can update the game, right?
No, and you shouldn't have to,
right?
Yeah,
but so if I were looking to quit my day job, right, and then make a certain amount of runway now, and then I was certain that the game was going to super hit and then continue on, then maybe Game Pass would make sense. But as is, not really planning on quitting my day job unless the game goes super crazy, right?
Right.
Because I gotta pay my mortgage, right?
Crazy things like that.
Yeah, adulting, it's the worst. So, as is, I gotta do the safe thing and just keep working on it at the pace that I do.
Sure.
Don't try to go too crazy. And that's the same reason, I don't have a publisher, because if I had a publisher, I'd have to, hey, cat, quit that. What are you doing? Sorry, I don't know if y'all could hear that. My cat is, digging through boxes in here. You want to see her, by the way? Let's see. I get her on camera here. So this is Lolly Cat. She's a little black cat with a little eye thing. Oh my gosh.
She's like, what are y'all looking at?
Right.
I'm surprised she's actually showing up on camera very well. It's usually
I got a tuxedo cat too that bothers me once in a while. And of course, my love for Mustangs. What I name her? I name her Celine.
Very good.
And then it's funny that people tell me Celine, they think Celine the eye solution. I'm like, no, Celine the Mustang.
See, I'm from Corpus, and so I was thinking Selena initially, but
I was thinking Celine Dion.
You know what? That's funny, Garrett, and there's probably a reason why I ended up, running into you, and now you're here on the show because I'm from Corpus.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
nice.
What school did you go to?
King.
I went to Ray.
Very cool. No, my wife went to Ray.
Okay. Nice. Small world, ain't it?
It really is.
So, what are the kinds of games then that when you get a chance? So we started to talk about this a little bit before we backtracked at Black Ice.
Oh yeah, sure.
What kind of games are you into? Outside of we talked about Astrobot, which I do want to play, but
sure.
What fancies you?
I like games that allow a lot of player expressivity and player choice in terms of things. So I really like I like immersive sims. So I like Dishonored, Deus Ex. I like Far Cry 2. I've played a little bit of some of the other ones, like Blood Dragon. I really enjoyed that one. Let's see. I like games with loot, so I like Borderlands, and I like Diablo. And let's see, what else have I been playing recently? Oh man, Into the Breach is so good. And I usually don't like tactics games at all, but that game is just so solid, and it's crunchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Into the Breach. That one is hang on, I've heard of that one.
So it's the same guys that made FTL. And actually my friend Ben Prunty did the music for both of those. Great guy. Yeah. So it's like Pacific Rim, but the important thing is not to protect your dudes so much, but you have to protect the buildings in the world.
Right.
So you can't let the civilians die. And you can see every turn what the enemies are going to do in the next turn. So every turn is kind of like a puzzle on this little space that you have to deal with. So it's just a fascinating, addictive game.
It's on Switch.
Oh yeah, it's good on Switch too. Which, by the way, I think Black Ice would be a good fit for the Switch as well, because it's kind of designed with people who don't have that much time on their hands. So you can make reasonable progress by hacking a few servers, getting a little bit of XP, a little bit of loot in a couple of minutes, and then shut it back down, come back later.
And then when you get up there on that rooftop party, you got
there you go. Your millennial rooftop party, play some local Black Ice multiplayer.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny. So you guys have your own Discord and everything. We got to get in there.
Yeah. There's we just passed up 500 members in the Discord. It's kind of exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've got a following going here. This is good.
Thank you. Yeah. A lot of people will kind of idle and play other things, but then when there's a big content update, then they come back and play it for a while there. So the Discord gets kind of going on there, and there's a small speedrunning community in there, and there's a modding community where they'll trade different crazy items that they make.
Yeah.
You can just edit your save file since it's a text file, and it'll mark you as a cheater and disable achievements on that character, but you can I mean, I can't let people get away with everything, right?
Yeah.
But then you can do all sorts of crazy stuff, give your shotgun shoot 1 million missiles at once or something stupid like that. But yeah, let's see, what other games have I been playing recently?
All of them on PC, or have you been playing any? What consoles do you have? I guess we heard Spider-Man because we know you got a PS4.
I have all the new ones.
Okay.
So I have an Xbox One. I don't have the upgraded versions of them, but I have an Xbox One, and I have a PlayStation 4. I actually, so I used to work at AMD, and I helped make the PlayStation 4 CPU when I worked there. Way back in the day. It was pretty cool.
Okay, damn. Cool. That's wild.
And AMD is still working. Working with the both PlayStation and Xbox. So
yeah, I think they are. That's pretty cool.
So what was that like? Hold on, back up. At
the time, it wasn't much different from working on any other CPU chip. What did
you do? What was your
at the low level? I would write the automated tests to make sure that it worked before we give it to customers. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you guys would stress test it.
Yeah.
See how hot it could get before it melted.
We don't usually do that. We do a thing where you expect the failures to be, there's like a bathtub curve to it, so like you expect a bunch of failures at the early life and then a bunch of failures at the end of life.
Right.
But like to get it past that early life, you do a thing called burn-in, where you like do stress it with like a lot of activity and a high voltage and high temperature, and then so you get it down to here, you try to kill all these parts on the left side of the curve. So we did with some of that.
Okay, that's great. It was really interesting. You were involved in the chip that went into the PlayStation 4. I mean, that's
pretty but then I left the company before they didn't like give me one, so I had to buy it myself. I know, right? It was like, oh, come on, what was I even doing here?
Oh wow! So, Peter, you gonna say something? Sorry,
No, it's just
okay.
Just interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. So what other cool things have you done with TI calculators, AMD chips?
I used to run a D&D campaign, and that actually taught me a whole lot about game development.
That would.
Yeah, you'd be surprised that like there's so much involved with like, you know, lying to the players and like not in terms of like hiding from them what you are doing, but like, you know, keeping certain things behind the curtain to make things surprising, and to like, you know, when you came up with something on the spot, you don't want your D&D players to actually know about it. You want them to have the illusion that this is the whole world and you built it all in your head, but like, you know, not like that. And then also, sometimes you have to force the player to have fun, because there's a thing, like, I mean, I'm sure you all have played games. Destiny's a good example. Do y'all remember the loot cave in the original Destiny that people used to go to?
Yeah.
Right. And so everybody liked that because it was a quick way to get loot, and it was the best way to get loot, but it was also like the most boring way to play the game, right? And so you can't let that stand because people are just going to burn themselves out too quickly, even if people think that they like it, right? Because they're not going to like it for long. So you have to either make it to where everything else drops loot as high as possible, which probably... or as high as that same rate, which probably doesn't really work for anything, or you gotta kill the loot cave, and they had to kill the loot cave.
Yeah.
So yeah, players will optimize the fun out of their game if you let them. Yep. So you gotta pay attention to that, and you gotta do that in D&D too, a little bit. You have to make things interesting so that the player doesn't go and just talk to that one guy in the tavern that you meant to be a background character, you know? You got to kick the door down with some goblins every once in a while.
Absolutely. You have to Leroy Jenkins in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So your Twitter, I just wanted to point out, your Twitter profile says you like Dune. So you've never seen The Last Starfighter, but you like Dune. How does that happen?
Well, I like the book Dune, to be fair.
Okay, all right.
Right, and I did go back and watch the movie. I think I own it on HD DVD.
HD, my man.
You know, it was like before Blu-ray and HD DVD were going to be a thing, and my dad was like, "Oh, look, you can," and he got me the thing, and I was like, "Dad, no, like too soon." Like,
oh no, man, I got with my Xbox 360, man, I got the HD DVD player.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
And I've got a slew of them. I remember when Circuit City was still alive, and I think this is what killed them. They accidentally marked the entire Matrix trilogy to $19.99 when those discs were like when those movies were still coming out at $30-$40.
Totally.
Yeah, the whole trilogy was $20, and people just went snapping it up. And we all thought, oh, they're never gonna honor that, and they did. I have a $30 my $20 Matrix, and it looks fantastic.
That's awesome.
I was an adopter of HD DVD.
Nice. The old Dune movies do look very good on it as well, for sure. The Dune books are very awesome. There's actually the lasgun in Black Ice is directly inspired by Dune. The beam laser weapon that you can use, which incidentally also works very well for players who aren't very good at aiming because it's really just point and shoot.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
See, Art, you got Coop's attention in the chat.
There are a lot of little quotes in the game too about Dune too. I can't remember anything off the top of my head, but there's little things here and there, in like the flavor text of certain things. Yeah. Absolutely, I love Dune. Other things. Oh, I was in the Men of Game Development calendar.
There.
Have you heard of this before?
No.
Okay, so it's not a thing anymore, unfortunately. But for a while.
Hold on, what's it called?
The Men of Game Development. I can pull up a picture here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it.
You shoot it over.
Do you mind if I link it in the chat?
That or shoot it over to me in the Discord, and I'll.
Oh, I guess you could put it on the stream.
I sure as hell can. What year? Because there was a Kickstarter for Men of Game Development 2017.
That was the one?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, hold up. How do I get the chat? I can Skype. Edition. Okay. It's that on my Twitter. I have the picture of it.
This is gonna be. Oh my god. Oh, hold on. I'm getting it. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, so we had to
July.
I had to buy a fog machine and a laser machine to pull that shot off, but it was a lot of fun.
Oh my god, and that's you with that's you.
Yeah. Oh, that's me.
Damn. I gotta hit the gym.
Yeah, I worked out quite a bit that year, and I because of my wrist injury, I haven't been in the gym lately. But I'm gonna get back there. You'll see.
What'd you do to your? Yeah, we did see that earlier. We thought that was maybe a coding accident.
Yeah, it is. It's from having a day job that's coding, and then a hobby of playing games that's coding, and then a second job of making a video game that's coding. And not doing enough stretches and staying hydrated in those things. Like seriously, I don't want to go too much on about this, but y'all do your stretches, and I worry about people that are in esports, man. It's crazy.
Oh, you mean those e-athletes? Hang on, Chris dropped.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Yeah, they get e-injuries.
Yeah. They get e-injuries. That is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah, so, I'm an IT guy by trade, so I kind of understand.
Mm-hmm.
So you code during the day, and then you come home and write a game.
Yes. It's pretty different, right? The type of work that I'm doing, and it's a lot more creative to be coding at home. But then, at least most of the time, right? I mean, there's some details of game development that are not super fun. Like I said, like getting the little things in the menus working and fixing bugs is not often super fun. But you got to do it, right?
A lot of late candle burning.
I try hard not to do that, but there have been a couple of right before the convention where I'm staying up way too late trying to get something done. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So what's the next place you're showing the game off?
RTX. Actually,
it is RTX. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It is. Unless I get chosen to do something at GDC, I submitted to a couple of things, but we'll see. Mm-hmm.
Have you been to GDC before with the game?
Yeah. Well, no, I never showed the game there, but I've been a couple of times because I used to live really close to there.
Okay.
So yeah, I like to try to go and try to. It's good for networking. I met Ethan, the guy that did the enemy models and the gun models there, and yeah, it's really great for that. Did y'all see? This is kind of off topic here, but there's a new. They just announced this today. Rami Ismail announced they're doing their own GDC sort of thing, right? It's a game dev conference, but it's free and it's online, and anybody can do it, and it's streamed over a couple of days.
Oh,
and
that's the virtual gaming conference?
This one is a new. There was one like that, but this one is actually run by different people. I think I don't know a whole lot about the other one, but I know that they're paying their speakers and that sort of thing.
Here, I got it. Vlambeer, co-founder.
GameDev.world or something like that.
GameDev.world.
Yeah, so that's really exciting because anything that makes game development easier for people who don't have a day job that lets them travel, to an expensive city, and I'm very lucky. Like, I'll be the first to admit that. Like, I have a lot of advantages as a game developer that a lot of other people wouldn't have. But it's anything that makes it easier for other people to do it is great in my book.
Sure. And here's the just for those who might be watching this either now or later that are into game development and have any interest in this. Yeah, it's June 21st through 23rd. So it's all live streamed. Huh.
Yeah. And they're translating it into a bunch of different languages, and it seems like it's gonna be really neat.
Cool. All right, put your logo back up here.
Yeah, check that out.
Yeah, I'm glad you sent this logo over to me, because now I know that animated GIFs work on our show.
Yeah, very cool.
That opens up a whole new can of fun.
Yeah.
So,
man, I have some more GIFs if you're interested. I have some choice black ice ones here. Let me see if I can find some.
Shoot them over. What?
There's been some interesting bugs. If I attach it, this is gonna be a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Is an 8 megabyte GIF. It's probably a bad idea to put it in Skype. Skype might throw a fit. I don't want to know this from here.
Discord it over to me if you can.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Mustang o'clock.
Mustang o'clock.
Wow. Oh gosh, I'm not in y'all's Discord yet. Hold up.
Oh, you're not? Well,
yeah.
Fix that.
There's just so many Discords. Let's see. All right.
Discord has been something that we've been trying to build ours up, but man, that has been something that has taken off. In fact, they've got their own little mini storefront.
They do. Yeah, it's really cool. Discord I think they're taking a good approach with in order to get people interested in it, you gotta make the game free. You gotta make some games free in order to just get people their first foot in the door. And everybody already has Discord. I cannot find y'all's Discord
link.
All right.
I just DM'd it to you.
Okay. On what service?
Oh, on Twitter. Sorry.
Okay.
Twitter's the other place where I have you.
Yes. Okay.
I should have Skyped it, but no. Discord's coming along. And we've had people tell us, because we use Skype here for our communication. We've had people telling us, to use Discord for communication. And a couple of our other friends that do podcasts like ours do actually use Discord for their voice chat and stuff like that. I mean, it's really becoming a huge social media competitor.
Yeah. They've I think the last 3 years they've been a big presence at PAX South. So the last 2 years they're huge. They have a booth next to Mixer. They're just as big as Mixer now. So
yeah, and they seem to know what they're doing. I hope that more people. I mean, I'm all for more competition in the market. So I hope that people are doing more. I hope that it adapts, and I hope that they have their own thing, and I hope it's a great place to have games too. I think that's awesome.
Well, I think what I like about it, and what we've been trying to do on our Discord channel is, you see it everywhere. There's a lot of unnecessary aggression on Twitter, we'll call it.
Yeah. Twitter can be a rough place sometimes.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah, and so we want, we're gamers. We don't, as you can see, we're focused on talking about, games, the great things about gaming. What it's like. I'm fascinated about your development history and how you're doing it, things like that, and that's what we like to talk about. And in our Discord, we are very serious about keeping that unnecessary aggression out. So people have a safe place to come and talk about games, to have a good time, and we do have other developers that are part of our Discord that just come in from time to time, and hopefully, as you become more comfortable around us, we come in and just talk regular games with us and things like that. We get, so I was telling you earlier, from Warhorse Studios, Rick Lagnese. He's their community manager. He jumps on. He'll just hit us up. Hey, want to come on the show? And we were doing our games of 2018, and I think we didn't even talk about his game for a while. So but those are the kind of things that we like. It's just people being real comfortable, and I love the fact that you brought a beer on the show. That's great. So it makes me happy. And while obviously we want to obviously we want to talk to you about your game, and we want you to tell people about that. We also want you to be a gamer with us. And
absolutely
tell us about your favorite games, and tell us what you like, and tell us what beyond you. We love honesty too. Some people love to tell us what how they feel about the industry. So okay, so hang on, I'm gonna take this picture. Tell me what in the world happened here. Hold on.
Okay, so I was testing a new gun, right? So I added pulse guns, like a 3-shot burst, and I had a debug item that I wanted to make it to where you could get a unique item that increases the number of shots in the burst. So it's a mod called End of Line. That if you add that, if you put that on your hotbar, then any pulse weapons you have get an additional shot. And if you put 2 of those on there, you get 5 shots. You keep going up on that. So it's probably pretty broken, but the recoil gets kind of ridiculous once you have that one on there. So it's
not fireworks.
Yeah. So what happened is I had a debug item that I didn't realize had that affix on it, and it had 100 shots, and and it was on a shotgun, and it wasn't applying just to pulse guns, it was applying to all guns. So it was like a shotgun with 13 shots per pulse, and 100 pulses, and the new micro missiles projectile type. So that was just what happened there, and it just got super crazy.
Wow. Yeah, no doubt. Imagine, okay, so Chris, imagine that with your bouncy gun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, yeah, if you get a lot of increased weapon range with the bouncy gun, and you do it indoors, they're just all over the place everywhere.
All right, well then, let's see, the next one that I grabbed that you sent me. Oh, hold on. What did I break here? Oh, here we go. The wave radius.
Yeah, so this is when I was debugging the new hack radius shader, which I wanted to have a part of it kind of glow and moving upwards like that, but I used the wrong texture for it, and it just did this, and I thought it looked cool, so I took a gif of it.
Yeah. Oh, here's the, hold on, let me grab this. Here's the disco ball of death, the death blossom. Hang on.
Yes.
Your homework before you come on the show next is to watch The Last Starfighter.
It's on Netflix, right? I need to watch that.
It is. It's such a classic movie, and it's got Robert Preston in it.
Uh-oh. I don't think it is on Netflix. It looks like I can pay for it in certain places.
You could get it from Redbox or something.
Okay.
It's such a great movie. It's so cheesy, and it's graphically, if you like those kind of it's like Tron was a trendsetter in its day. I mean, I was, what was that, 82? I was 9 years old when Tron came out.
Nice.
So at the time I was so mesmerized. It looked so, it was so ahead of its time graphically, and what they were doing with CGI. The Last Starfighter actually came out a year later. It came out in '84. Yeah, it was. It was the next, like, jump up in CGI and computer graphics from where Tron was. And
did they do the like rotoscoping sort of thing, or like the hand drawn like?
Oh no, it was total like Cray and Silicon graphic stuff.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, like it was crazy. It's kind of hard to describe. It doesn't look like Tron. It looks like a computer game.
Yeah.
Huh.
But when I remember first watching it, I couldn't tell.
No.
That it was CGI, and I mean, it wasn't a big thing back then about that. So, but yeah, that's another great movie. I mean, that evolves around gaming too.
Yeah.
Because the main character, how he got chosen to go out in space and join the resistance to fight was because he was good at playing the game.
Yeah.
Classic.
The game was a test to see who the best starfighters were. See, I don't want to give too much away. See, now
I'm watching the trailer. It looks really fun. There's a DeLorean in it too, of course.
Of course.
Because it was 1984.
Yeah, 1984.
Oh, very good.
So, I mean, there were so many. I mean, it was such a decent story too, which you would not think a movie like that would have. It had a decent story.
That's really cool.
So,
yeah.
So you have to watch, and then you have to let us know what you think.
Okay, I will do that. I love movies like that I haven't seen. Yeah, the older thing, like I went and rewatched Masters of the Universe kind of recently.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Oh, and that movie did not have a good story, but it was a blast.
Yeah. It was fun when I was a kid.
Yeah. That one and what was it
Lundgren and Frank
Krull, the one with the key, the blade thing that was like a.
That's a classic.
That's a classic.
If that thing doesn't end up because you can get a Tron throwing disc and not a Tron throwing disc, Disney, a throwing disc. You can get a throwing disc in Black Ice, and I could totally swap the model out for like the blade thing. Like, I want to do that.
That's sweet. Oh my goodness. So one of my all time, to give you my age, one of my all-time favorite games I used to spend so much time on was a game called Tron Deadly Discs for the Intellivision.
Okay, nice.
And all it was you were in the arena. It was just a square arena, and you ran around and you threw your disc and you had to de-res the computer guys. And then every time you cleared that level, a randomizer would come out and try to attack you, and you'd have to get the disc into his eye, and it was awesome.
That's really cool.
So awesome. The game was it was fantastic. See, Coop knows what I'm talking about.
And then like going to the arcade too back then, especially for us grew up in the 80s, is that like Tron, the Tron game was one of those you had to go play.
Yeah.
So they have that at the pinballs in Austin. I love that. The one where you can play 4 different games on it.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to. Oh, I love that game, especially on the old CRTs, where and honestly, the visual style of Black Ice was inspired by that sort of stuff more than anything, because the glow on it is so rich and great, and stuff on like the Vectrex and like old oscilloscopes and
the Vectrex.
What is it? Tempest. I love Tempest. Yeah.
So I had an Atari Jaguar just for Tempest 2000. Oh wow. Peter bought the game.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So this was testing out the forced jump pad things and just trying like kind of a new area here.
No, this is
I realized that putting a whole bunch of them in a row, like the first part of the diff here where you're just going through like a bunch of them at the same time, was kind of sickening, or not sickening, but like if flashing lights bother you, then this is definitely going to bother you. And it wasn't the sort of thing, like I have a photosensitive mode that kind of reduces the, like it changes the grid into all like a flat color sort of setup, and the buildings are all flat color. It reduces a lot of the contrast to the game, which I have found helps certain people who have, if not epilepsy, then something kind of similar.
Sure. Well, it's nice that you thought of that.
Well, I actually had a friend that was like, I'd love to play your game, but I can't play for more than 15 minutes without getting sick. And that was my friend Bonnie. And I added that thing in, and she tried it out and was like, oh, I can actually play now. This is wonderful. So,
That's awesome.
And more
I also saw you have a colorblind mode.
Yeah, it's mostly just for the item rarities, so that you can tell, like, this one's a rare, this one's an epic, that sort of thing. Yeah. The rest of the game, the colors do mean things, but it's not super important to actually know that. Like, a red server is going to spawn instead of a bunch of little enemies, it'll spawn, like, several larger ones. Less stronger enemies. And this is what the sky looks like in the game. It's actually inspired by the Spaceship Earth ride at Epcot.
That's cool.
They have it's just a room with mirrors that you go through it, and it's got LEDs in an array, right? Or it's probably fiber optics for them. And I really love that effect. So the sky is made up of a bunch of particles in an actual array moving outward. So those are all like individual objects. It took me a long time to figure out how to do that and not kill the performance of the game.
Nice. The demo's on itch, right?
Yes, there is a demo on itch.
Okay.
And yeah.
Is it the same demo? Or is it...
If it says version 1.8.120, that's the latest. That's like the live/demo version. So yeah, that's the latest demo.
All right, the trailer that they've got up there is the 08100.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go. Download demo.
It'll tell you like when you load the game.
Let's see here, because now I want to play it. Now I want to play it.
Yeah, the demo. Let's see. Yeah, the itch.io version doesn't like I said. We do the in-dev version on Steam, and that one. How many? I think we're at version 144. So we've done 24 versions since the last. Yeah, it's been a lot of new stuff.
I just copy this folder somewhere. Is that all I need to do?
Yeah, you just there should be an exe in there, and you can just run that.
Nice.
After you unzip the thing. Yeah, so itch.io actually has a client, kind of like Steam, that you can use now. That's actually a really slick client. They did a great job.
That's not my bag. And that's what that's what I don't like about Steam. Is I don't want to have to. I'm an old DOS guy. All right, mm-hmm. When I wanted to play a game, I flew the floppy into the drive, or I threw the CD, and I could install the game, mm-hmm. and then I just went to the folder and I double-clicked the executable, and I went. Mm-hmm. One of the coolest things that I've played with is DOSBox. I love some of those old games, and all I had to do is just go in there and just run the executable. I don't have to run mm-hmm. Run a Steam client. I don't want to have to do that. I don't need that. Just let me put it on my drive, and let me launch it like an old man.
Absolutely.
So
I remember wolf3d.exe.
Yes, exactly. All right, so I can't tell what version this is. It didn't say.
When you in the top right of the game. Oh, when you actually go into the game.
Oh, okay. All right. I was looking at the executable to see if it gave me anything.
No, it's only inside the game.
Gotcha. And I don't want to run it while we're running XSplit, or I might kill this. So, actually, it says file version is 1.0.55711, 2018 at first. So, could be close.
Okay, that's the Unity version, probably.
Oh. Yes, because there's a Unity crash. Okay, so wait a minute. So what other? So you was it something you started in Unity and moved to something else, or you moved into Unity?
Oh no, it's still Unity.
Okay,
but I've gone through several major revisions of Unity. I think I started at like 4.1 1 or something. I don't know. And now it's gone through all the 4 versions, all the 5 versions, 2017, and now it's on 2018.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and updating Unity breaks a lot of things a lot of the time, so you have to go through and it's a whole ordeal. It's kind of rough.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
oh, shoot.
Going back to DOSBox, have you seen GZ Doom?
No.
Okay, so it is a way of, if you have Doom, like the original Doom, and you have the WAD files from it, you just put it into this, or you just get Doom mods, and it lets you, because Doom is open source, so it's a way of playing Doom on any modern PC, and it adds a bunch of different options like mouse look and that sort of thing. And it is really good. I never properly had Doom growing up because we kind of went from Wolfenstein to Duke Nukem. We kind of missed that Doom phase in there. In my parents' house, I think it was too satanic or something.
Oh, then
I really do think that's
I'm sure you didn't play Hexen then.
No, I didn't get to play Hexen, unfortunately. I did play Quake, and there are plenty of pentagrams in that, though.
Yes, there were.
But yeah, GZ Doom is fantastic, and I actually went back and played through all of Doom and Doom 2 probably last year, I think, maybe 2017, to really get a feel for what people loved about it. And I'll tell you what, it holds up.
I'm gonna have to find it. Where did you? Is it public domain or is it?
Yeah, it's free.
Cool. GZ Doom.
GZ Doom.
So, by the way, I launched just because I'm a masochist. I did launch the demo, and it is 8.120. So
awesome, perfect. So yeah, then I did remember to update it. Yeah. Sometimes I forget.
if anybody heard that loud music that just shot off in the middle of the show, that's what it was. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So.
And then another thing that I want to say runs partially on DOSBox. Have y'all heard of Multi-Bowl?
No.
Okay, so it is not a game you can buy because it's a bunch of emulators of NES games hacked, ROM hacked, to where you have 2 players in all these games, and it'll load up Joust or something, and you have to get 1 point in Joust, and it just shows up A to jump, B to attack, and then you just have 30 seconds to score a point, one player or the other, and then after you get 1 point, that's it. It switches to a completely random different game. Which is super cool, and it might be Micro Racers or the old Mario Karts or yeah. So that's why you can't buy it because it's a bunch of emulators. But if you look hard enough for it, you can find it. And I'm not recommending piracy or anything here, of course.
No, we are not. Yes.
But it is a really fun game. It's a good party game because you're just playing all these crazy random games,
And it just jumps from game. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. No. All right, so that and and just like that, it is 11:15.
Oh wow.
So at this point in time, we typically open it up for any other news or anything of the week, something anybody has that they wanted to chat about. Obviously, the big news right now is the Anthem demo that nobody can get into. So,
especially me.
Right.
I did get to play one mission.
Oh, cool.
How'd you like it? It was great. I mean, the mechanics, the shooting, just the environment. Finally, at first it was kind of trying to figure out how do you fly? Because that was the whole, point what the game was about when you first saw the trailer. So once I did that, you had to hold the A button down and I think the top left trigger or a button.
Weird.
No. You just had to hold A down and just kind of move around with the joystick.
Awesome.
But it was an interesting game, and I got in there with the 2 other guys, and at the mission we had to solve a puzzle. So we had to, we were in separate areas, and we had to, each kind of click on this deal to choose different icons. We had to pick the right icons, but we couldn't see each other. So it's definitely a game that you have to work with others.
Interesting.
So, but I played the one mission, and then it was supposed to send me back to the main area, and then it just kept loading. So never got back in.
Well, I'm sure they will iron out all those issues.
Oh yeah. I mean, people get crazy and outraged about a lot of these multiplayer games. It's like this is nothing new. This happens all the time with games that they're gonna be on servers, and you got so many people trying to get in.
Yeah.
And they have to try to add servers, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's live now. I just got in.
You just got it.
All right.
Nice.
So, it just takes time to, it's Friday. Everybody can have fun Saturday and Sunday.
All right. You guys have to go. I understand.
Well, hopefully we'll see you on there. So we're gonna have to have to trade gamer tags and PS4 PSN names, and I mean these guys play PC. I don't.
That's okay.
So I used to. So in the day I used to.
Yeah.
I was the guy who put his rig in his car.
Uh-huh.
I had a bag. I had the bag for my I use it now for my band equipment, but I have a bag that fit my 20-inch monitor, and I hauled that over to a friend's house to do LAN.
Wait, are we talking
weekends.
a CRT?
Yeah.
20-inch monitor?
Yeah, to do LAN gaming. And
God.
and so those are the days I used to play. And when you were talking about Duke Nukem and that kind of guy, I used to play the hell out of Duke Nukem.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, well, Garrett said he got a PSVR. So, Garrett, have you played Star Trek Bridge Crew?
Yeah, I love that game. Oh my
Got
god.
a couple guys here.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
we're trading PSN names.
I'm trying to think of what my name is on there, but I'll find it and tell you all.
Yes, please, because you're our fourth guy. Because we got Coop, who plays on PC because it's crossplay. Peter,
I love that.
And me. Oh, that's it. That's it. Okay, we're doing this.
Yeah, which if I can get Black Ice to do cross-platform multiplayer, I'm going to totally attempt to do that at least.
It looks like that's the thing now.
I'm so glad that they started allowing it.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For PvE, definitely 2 thumbs up. PvP,
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's the problem that we have with Sea of Thieves.
I was gonna say, or for Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
So, now, have you played that? Did you play Sea of Thieves?
No, I've seen a lot of people play it though. It seems really cool.
You need to play it.
I do like pirates.
You need to play it. Other games have tried and failed. This is the one.
Very cool.
It's the neatest thing, and you're in the presence of a pirate legend. Peter has maxed out the pirate legend.
Oh wow! Okay,
it's a very social game. It's
That's
like where
awesome.
we hang out. Yeah,
That's
we used
great.
to play like every night just as a to hang out and
Yeah,
We played a lot, so
I love the music thing where you can all kind of jam along.
Yes. Those are fun. So I mean, those are things, and so for the low price of $10 a month,
Yeah,
if you get
the price is right.
If you get Game Pass, it's part of Game Pass.
Very cool.
Actually, yeah, that and all the other Microsoft games. So all of their first-party games are part of Game Pass. So you can come and game with. You can come and run and run with us.
Oh man. See, I would love to, but like, you guys, I have to work on my game at some point, right? Like,
He's got a game to build.
Well, whenever you got free time and you want to try it out, definitely you hit us up. And,
awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
or any game, yeah.
Oh, Tommy, I see. That's the other game that I really like, Rocket League. Rocket League is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it in ages.
Man, did y'all play on the PC back in the 90s? There was a game called Hyperblade.
Yes.
You did?
Yes,
Oh my
I
god.
did.
You were the
Oh.
only person I've ever met that remembers this game.
No. I don't know why I'll tell you exactly why I remember that game. So there was an old Atari game that was not quite this was like more like a sports action game. I remember that.
Okay.
But there was a game on in the arcades on the Atari called Stun Runner, and it reminded me a little bit of that because you had where your arena was kind of like that bowl where you guy could skate through and stuff like that. It was back when Activision was good.
They do some cool stuff.
Well, the other thing too is when I was hauling around my rig and I was gaming, I was doing the Monster 3D FX cards, the Voodoos. So I did the dual Voodoo 2 cards.
Nice.
So us guys that did that, we were doing Sly before Sly was cool. Because those were you pop 2 of them in, and I was playing Doom at 1024 by 768.
My God!
At like 120 frames per second.
Right.
And
because you could do that on a CRT.
Yes, you could. Yes.
Yeah.
And that stuff was crazy. And what I remember about Hyperblade was it was kind of built for those diamond cards. Like they coded it. They had, like you see now where they have like the NVIDIA stuff and the AMD stuff. They coded that game. They had a version of it that was coded for the Monster 3D cards.
I wonder if that's why I had that game. That makes sense. Like, because I'm pretty sure I had a diamond card now that you mentioned it.
Yeah. Like,
wow. That was so long ago.
Yeah. And the other game that I really loved playing, it was an overhead, kind of an overhead handball, futuristic handball game. Remember Speedball?
I don't remember that one.
All right, that's one. See, I'm showing my age. It reminded me a little bit of that too.
You've already showed your age, sir.
I know.
The reason I brought up Hyperblade is, well, one, because I loved the dystopian fake cyberpunk advertising they had as the loading screens. But two, it was basically Rocket League if you think about it, right? Like it was a big arena skates. Where you could go up on the sides and then you could knock people over and kill them. So I mean, I love that game.
Yeah, I'm looking at they're small pictures, but for those who have no idea what we're talking about, this is what it looked like. I think
I still have my disc, but you can't play it on a modern computer. It just does not work.
Well, you can't. It's not a DOS game,
right?
Well, would it run in DOSBox?
Maybe. Did the Rocket League people mention Hyperblade? Because I haven't heard it mentioned before.
No, you're the first person that has mentioned that game in my life, other than me, that played it. No, but Rocket League was one of my favorites. I love the hockey game that they have and the basketball game that they have, and so I'm always down for these games. Folks,
have you played Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball?
No.
Okay, so I think it is only on PC, but I believe it has controller support if that helps you. It's probably on itch.io. It was one of the inspirations for Black Ice as well. It kind of reminds me of Hyperblade as well, but it's a dodgeball game. So it's called? Just search for Disco Dodgeball. It's gorgeous. When my friend made it, and it's a competitive, there's bots, but it's a competitive, team-based dodgeball sort of game. But it kind of reminds me of Hyperblade in that, you've got jumps that you can do, and it's all in first person and, one-hit kill. But it's a fantastic game, and you can actually get that dodgeball from that game as a unique item in Black Ice. Because I love that game so much.
So is this it?
Yep, that's the one.
Oh wow!
And that's as busy as it can look. That makes it kind of hard to see what's going on.
Yeah,
but it plays super well. It's very smooth, and there's a unique physics to the way that you jump around.
Oh, now wait a minute. So this game came out last year on the Xbox. So you Xbox gamers, there's it's called Disco Dodgeball Remix.
Yes. Oh yeah. He added a whole bunch of like it's got like music reactive textures in the level and like yeah, it's really cool.
It's only $15.
It's a very good game. It's much better with friends than with bots. I will say that. But it's good for like a LAN party, that sort of thing. And I don't know if it's got local multiplayer, but it would be good for that too.
Oh, it was put out by. It looks like it was published by Zen Studios.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh, this looks freaking awesome.
It's really fun.
There's like a little video of it. Oh my god, this looks awesome. And I can see where you may have taken some liberties.
Some inspiration, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It was kind of, I mean, the dev for this got started before I did, and it was kind of like, hey, how did you, like, your glow effect, where did you get that? And he told me what plugin he was using, and I used the same plugin, and like, yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, this looks really cool.
So how did you meet some of these other developers and get some of them to help you out on your game?
Almost entirely Twitter, really. The game dev subreddit was cool for a while. There's and then GDC is a lot of it. I actually have a secret Discord, well, like not secret, but a private Discord.
Yeah.
They would have only developers that make indie first-person shooter games in there.
Okay.
And
cool.
Like we don't have anybody from the public in there, but we talk about like, hey, how do you make your guns feel good, like that sort of thing.
So you were in California, right? So
I was.
What do you think about Austin? How as far as the gaming scene, just the culture there? It seems like it's kind of grown these past couple years, especially having Rooster Teeth there, the RTX and Southwest by South. So, what? And I've seen and then I've seen some indie. I think there's a couple indie studios here too. And this PAX South, this last one, I've seen a lot of local people more so. So next, I also talked to a guy from Houston that made Aqua Lungers.
Mm-hmm.
They were there too, and I enjoyed playing that too. So we might have him on another day.
Awesome.
So yeah. So is there other? Have you talked to other developers in Austin? Like you have BioWare. You got what? Bethesda has a studio there.
Do they?
Yeah, that they.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe they just opened one up not too long ago.
That's really cool.
And I just saw too that Retro something that's supposedly they're the ones working on Metroid.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't know they were in Austin. They've been there since '99. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, they just took over that too because Nintendo rebooted Metroid and gave it to Retro.
Yeah.
So Austin is, I didn't even know this, but Austin has actually had a game development industry, like a large footprint since the 80s, like coming from board games and moving into video games.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, the original Deus Ex was made in Austin by Ion Storm Austin, which was spun off of John Romero's company in Dallas.
Yeah.
And there's still a ton of companies here. EA is here, Zynga is here, the Arcane under Bethesda. That's yes. Okay, yes. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The company that made the new the French part of the company was mostly the one that made Dishonored. I think they're in Lyon. But in Austin, that team made Prey, the new one.
Okay.
Which is super cool. And there's a ton of indies here, and there are a lot of indie meetups. There's a monthly indie meetup that's open to the public. It's really cool, called Juegos Rancheros. And then there is the other festival, the Fantastic Arcade, which is kind of a spinoff of Fantastic Fest, which is the Alamo Drafthouse Film Festival that they do. Yeah. So Fantastic Arcade is like a whole separate thing, but there's like an award show and a showcase of a bunch of different indie games, and yeah, it's legit. It's one of the like more prestigious awards you can get as an indie developer, is to be given one there. Actually, yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so tons of indies in Austin, and it's been really nice.
Yeah, I mean it's exciting to see the industry grow, and my daughter, she's excited to kind of jump in. She's more looking into the graphic art part of it, but I tried telling her to learn. I want her to learn some coding too.
Sure.
So she, get a little bit rounded, with the whole gaming development. So, I don't know where it's going to lead her, but just try to help her, help her kind of, look at this and let's look at that and talk to other people. So, we'll see what happens. I just want her to be happy and.
That's really great. My parents tried to support me in game development when I was young, but they bought me this book of like what they had in the 90s was, here, you can be a game developer, and it was just like, first learn C++. And it's just like, oh no. I couldn't do it from a book,
Oh, C++. Here's how to write an overlay for you.
God.
Oh my goodness.
Let's get real deep into how pointer dereferencing works.
Right.
Like, oh no, thank you.
Oh my god, this is back in my BBS days.
But it's like now, you can go to school for gaming development. You have some of the bigger schools. Like I saw SMU was there at PAX South.
Yeah.
First time I saw the one here in San Antonio. They were Incarnate Word. That's the first time I've seen them there too, and they have a degree, a bachelor's degree. So very interesting. And some of the schools, I think there are some schools starting to get into esport. Not everybody can play physical sports, so
sure.
There might be some teams, esport teams in high school. So interesting. Yeah,
very cool. There's SMU Guildhall is one of the better game development schools, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah,
I have heard that if you're trying to get a job at like a AAA sort of game company, that they care a lot more about your portfolio and the volume of work that you've made. So like if you've participated in a bunch of game jams and you've made a bunch of things that you can actually show somebody. That's what they care about, almost even more so than like if you have a degree from certain places, which to me is really surprising.
Yeah.
But you can always get a degree in something like art or computer science or something like that, and then also do game development either on the side like I do or as a potential option.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. Just try to, open up all these, ways of trying to come about to where it could open up doors for her. So
absolutely,
we'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome to have a fellow Texan, close by, and maybe game once in a while and come on a podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool.
Awesome. So, all right. Well, we're now at 11:37. So, we're gonna get out of here so we can play some Anthem. Try to play some Anthem, but
everybody says it's working now. So we'll see.
So, but before we call it a night, does anybody have anything other? Anybody getting Resident Evil 2 remake? That's been hot. This
I would like to play it, but I don't know. With next month, with Crackdown 3, Anthem, Metro Exodus, kind of hard. Might have to put get it later on, maybe on sale, backlog.
I forgot we're so close to Crackdown.
I love Terry Crews. I love the original Crackdown, so that one was kind of piquing my interest.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. And so Brooklyn Nine-Nine's coming back.
Oh my God, love Brooklyn.
We got it already set on record for NBC. Yeah, it's like Fox doesn't make too many mistakes when it comes to their shows. We couldn't figure out what they were thinking.
I know.
So
totally.
Yeah, so glad that's coming back to NBC. So, but yeah, Crackdown was such a good. Now, did you ever did you get the achievement for jumping off the top of the
tallest one,
the
or
headquarters? Well, you get an achievement for jumping off headquarters.
I think I did get that one. I didn't go. I usually don't go for like all the achievements in every game, but I want to say I got that one. That like. Because you die, right? Like you
jump in the you land in if you don't land in the water, yes,
okay.
You die.
Maybe I did it wrong.
It's so worth the achievement though.
Oh my gosh.
So and that's backward compatible. You can go back and play it.
Man, that's a good idea. I love that game. I did I went back and I think I did go back and play it. I took some screenshots fairly recently, or either that or I took some screenshots of a video I saw just to see how they do the rooftop spaces that are interesting combat spaces but also convincing as rooftops, because that was one of the things that I ran into with my game is that how do you make the a play space that's both visually appealing and a good combat space, because a lot of games they'll have combat spaces surrounded by cool visual things, but the visual things are like separated off,
Right. That would definitely be a place to look, because there's more rooftop combat than I've ever seen in a game.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
and fun things to climb on and all that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and leveling up.
Yep. So. Skills for kills, Agent.
Yes. Man, see, you have impressed me, sir. You have impressed.
I love that game.
I'm trying to remember. That was not online playable, but this one is. Yeah. So I am very much.
It's sad that it's only 2-player though, co-op instead of 4. It started out as 4, but then it decided to go 2.
Yeah.
So
that's all right. I'll have time for all of you. So. All right, so anything else going on before we roll out?
No, just trying to get as much gaming in as I can.
Yep. Peter?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony is working, so I'll be cracking this weekend, as well as Black Ice that I just purchased. So looking forward to it.
And thank you so much for that.
Oh yeah, no problem.
See, here's an instance where the demo sold it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, you probably see some Black Ice streaming on NLG shortly.
Fantastic. Yeah. Let me know. There's a channel in my Discord specifically for if you're streaming the game. Drop a link there, and maybe people will show up and hang out. So.
Okay,
sure.
All right. So is your Discord super duper GC, or is it?
It's discord.gg/black-ice.
Okay.
That makes sense. I can post it.
Yeah, post it, and you can post it in our Discord if you want, since now you're in there now.
I'll do the Twitch chat, I guess.
Okay. Oh, you
link got deleted.
You can't, right? You can't. Put it in the Discord. Put it in Discord, and we'll make sure we also make sure we tweet it out and stuff for those who want to come in and talk the game. So. But,
okay.
And then while you're doing that, so thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This is great. We're really impressed with your work, and the game looks fantastic. I downloaded the demo. I'm gonna try it out. You got me to jump on a PC game for the first time in forever. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And hopefully we will hear about some good console versions, that we can play, because.
That's the plan. I'm at least gonna go and see if I can do it once we do the 1.0. And like I said, I've already met with a couple people. It should be for sure a thing.
Okay. Well, we'll badger Chris for you if you need it.
Well, I on the tweet that I tagged him, he liked it.
Hey.
So we'll see. But no, definitely awesome meeting you at PAX South. And thank you very much for I reached out to you, and here you are. So definitely welcome to the NLG family, and anytime you want to come on with us and game with us, yeah, just happy to get to know you and, hopefully game with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
And as with everybody, we have an open invite for you hit us up one day. Hey, mind if I come on talk with you guys? Anytime.
Very cool.
Anytime. Maybe get you on the same show as Legneasy. We'll get him to talk to Rick. That'd be cool. Yeah. Next thing you know, Deep Silver's publishing his game.
I definitely later on. I definitely would be interested. Once PS5 specs and the next Xbox whatever start coming out, be interested to get your opinion on some of that later on. Once we get some info on that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Especially since you had this AMD background, so
I still have friends that work there, and nobody has said anything to me.
You don't have to spill any beans, but just your opinion on, these current gen and what to look for.
I'm guessing next year there'll probably be something new, right?
Yeah. It's all
somebody will do something.
It's all on the writings on the wall. So
yeah.
So, and just for the chat room. No, Tommy. Not thanks for your time. We're here.
Yeah, thank you, Chief.
Yeah, we're here for you guys. Jeff, Tommy, Coop,
Oops, Siberia was there.
Dirty J, and I think Jago had a much longer day today, so he's probably sleeping.
And I guess we had Tank.
Yep, Assault Tank. Hopefully he was enjoying himself. And whoever that guy was, I had to ban earlier, but
I saw that. I was like,
not that.
Yeah, wrong Twitch channel, dude. Yeah, this is not it's not chat roulette, dude. But anyway, thank you so much, man. This was great. Yeah. We really appreciate it. Come back anytime you want.
Thank you all so much.
So
I had a blast.
Yeah, we did too, and you got a great thing here. So we're looking forward to seeing more about Black Ice and talking about it more, and hopefully showing it on our channel more.
Very cool. So, thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, Peter, you want to take us out?
Yeah, well, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for hanging out. That's awesome. I want to thank you, Garrett, for hanging out. That's awesome to learn about your game, bought the game. Hopefully others will do the same, or at least check out the demo and spread the word. And everybody have a good weekend. We'll be back next Friday, 9:30 Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Game on.
All right. Good night, guys.
All right. Have a good weekend. Game on.